My dear student, Sai Ram, Om Shri Sai Ram. First of all, my humble salutation at the lotus feet of my beloved Bhagwan. I welcome you all for the year 2021 and 22 academic year. Dear children, this year is also a critical year, a peculiar year. Even the second wave made us to rely on online classes, whatever it may be, but each and everyone is suffering due to this COVID period. We forget our difficulties. Let us rely on these online classes. Today I am going to take you social science classes, in that history. Let us begin the lesson. Dear students, you know the very common word, that is trade. Trade. What do you mean by trade? What do you mean by trade? Mean by trade. See, a simple term which changed the course of history, which changed the history of Europe as well as eastern countries like India and Sumatra, Java, Indonesia. How it impacted on? See, trade is very old terminology, very old. What do you mean by trade? Trade means selling and buying of goods and services is called trade. India was indulged in trade. India is indulged in trade since time immemorial. Time immemorial means if you go back to the Babylonian time, Mesopotamian time, there we can find the clues of trade between India and Mesopotamia, India and Babylonia. Since time immemorial, we had trade relations with other countries. Even today we are dealing with other countries. We are sending goods and services. We are receiving and buying goods and services. Similarly, so many changes took place in the trade of India. This is all about the introduction part. But today I am going to discuss you with why European countries came to India. What was the purpose? Then what happened then? This is the things we are going to discuss. Dear children, today we are going to see the advent of Europeans to India. The lesson is the advent. Advent means what? Arrival. Advent of Europeans. Europeans to India. Yes. You know, there were trade and commerce relationship between India and Europe since ancient times. Very long back. If you trace the history, we had a trade relation with Roman countries. Eastern Roman countries, Western Roman countries. That proves we had trade relation. There was great demand for Indian goods, Indian spices like pepper, cardamom, ginger, cinnamon and many other spices in Europe. Once again I will repeat the things, Indian goods which had great demand in Europe. Pepper, cardamom, cinnamon, ginger. These are all the spices. Indians were very expert in growing these spices. Even today we are exporting these spices to European countries, American countries, African countries. Then the trade relationship continued between India and Europe and other Asian countries even during the Middle Ages also. This is, we are talking about olden days. Even the trade continued during the Middle Ages around 1500, 1600, 1700, like that. And here, who are the buyers from the goods, Indian goods? Who are the buyers of Indian goods? The Arab merchants carried the Asian merchandise into Constantinople. Who? Arab were, Arab people indulged in trade. They borrowed the goods from eastern countries like India, Sumatra, Indonesia, Philippines, China. From these countries, they used it to collect the goods and sold them in Constantinople. What is this Constantinople? Constantinople is the capital city of Eastern Roman Empire. It is also called as Byzantium. What? Byzantium. Last year, Jesus Christ and Islam lesson, you come across this point also. I hope last year you studied Eastern Roman Empire and Byzantium. The same Constantinople we are discussing right now. The Arab merchants carried the Asian merchandise. What do you mean by merchandise? What do you mean by merchandise? Merchandise means goods. Merchandise means goods. Arab were collecting Asian merchandise into Constantinople of Eastern Roman Empire, and Italian merchandise would buy these goods from Arabs, then sell in European countries. See what way they dealt in the trade. Now let us see. Arab used to collect the goods from eastern countries like India, Sumatra, Java, Arab. Then they sold it in Constantinople. Constantinople is also called as the gateway of European trade. Who are the buyers here? The major buyers are Italians. These Italians would sell the goods in Europe. Here, Italian merchants would buy the goods and then sell in European countries. Like this, Constantinople was the center of international business and considered as the gateway of European trade, or gate of European trade, gateway of European trade. See, gateway of India, you know that here gate European trade or gate of European trade or gateway of European trade was Constantinople. Now I will ask some questions. Note down the questions. Dear students, I will ask the questions while doing the lesson only. I don't give any extra questions on WhatsApp. If you go through my videos, you will come to know which are the questions given related to the particular lessons. First one is, mention the Indian goods which had great demand in European countries. Once again, mention the important Indian goods which had great demand in European countries. Who had carried the Asian merchandise into Constantinople? Answer is very simple. One word question, one word answer, that is Arab. The Arab merchants carried the Asian merchandise into Constantinople. Another question. Which was the capital city of Eastern Roman Empire? Which was the capital city of Eastern Roman Empire? Why was Why was Constantinople called as gateway of European trade? Why was Constantinople called as gateway of European trade? Okay, now let us continue the lesson. Here, you know that Arab merchants had gained monopoly over the trade of Asian countries. Asian countries. Similarly, at the same time, Italian traders gained monopoly over European trade. See, during the Middle Ages, Italian played prominent role, noble role, pivotal role in the European trade. During the Middle Age, Arab played prominent role in Asian trade. That means Arab had gained monopoly. What do you mean by monopoly? Single player in the fray. Single player, there is no other contenders, other competitors. For example, you know that Indian government has monopoly over railway. There is no other competitor for Indian railway. No other competitor. No other sector is competing. Monopoly. Indian railway has monopoly over Indian railway transport system. Similarly, Arab had gained monopoly over Asian trade. They collect the goods from us like pepper, ginger, cardamom, cinnamon. More than that, they even collected the jewelry, cloth. See, we had created numerous good things. See, India was known for, in course of time, India was known for metallurgy. We were very good at producing the steel. You know that the Mehrolip iron pillar, that is the very nice example. It is the very best example for the metallurgy technology of ancient India. Still, it has not caught single drop of rust. It has not caught single drop of rust. That much proficiency was there. Then chintzes of, you know that chintzes of Machilipattanam, calicos of Calicut, golden embroidery of Surat, muslin clothes of Dhaka. See, these are all the variety of cloth which we were producing in ancient times. You know that Dhaka was known for muslin clothes. That sari can be folded and packed in matchbox. Can you imagine? Such a wonderful clothes were produced in India. These cloth items had huge demands in Europe and Arabian countries. And we were expert in making jewelry also. Jewelry. And even today, we are exporting the jewelry items, designer jewelry. Likewise, India had proficiency in many products. Well, here, in that way, trade was taking place between India and Europe, and Asia and Europe. The merchandise from Asia had brought good profits to the Italian merchants. Actually, these Italians used to collect the things from Arab. Where? At Constantinople. Constantinople was the center of international trade. And it is also gateway of European trade. Why it is called gateway of European trade? See the image. See the image. If you see the image, it was the easiest route between Asia and Europe. For some distance, they can go through sea. After that, after reaching Constantinople, they can go via land route. So, the transportation system made easy during those days. Because of that only, it is called center of international trade. The merchandise, the goods from Asia had brought good profits to Italian merchants. You know that if you see Shakespeare's drama, play, right? There you might have come across the Merchant of Venice. That means Venice was the center of international trade also. Venice was not only the dramatical place, it is the place of trade. Venice and other Rome and other cities of Italy were known for international trade, because they collect the goods from the Arabs and sold them to Europeans. Okay, this is how trade was taking place between Asia and Europe. But you know the children, here the Constantinople is the central idea. What do you mean by this central idea? See, the matter of Constantinople changed the history of Asia as well as the history of Europe. Now we are going to see the fall of Constantinople. Now we are going to see the fall of Constantinople. Dear children, while listening my video, don't forget to take the textbook and go along with the words. Go along with these words. Then you can make out the lesson clearly. Okay, the fall of Constantinople. Constantinople. Okay. The trade and commerce between Asia and Europe was taking place through the city of Constantinople. I told repeatedly. In 1453, see, remarkable era year. In 1453, what happened? The Ottoman Turks captured the city of Constantinople. Ottoman Turks captured the city of Constantinople. As a result, all the trade routes connecting the city of Constantinople came under the control of Turks. See, this attack, this capture means this capture of Constantinople changed the entire history of Europe as well as Asia. Not only Asia, India. How? See, the Turks started levying too many taxes on the goods passing through these routes. See, already I explained it. Arabs collected the goods from Asia and they sold them at Constantinople. This was the center and it was purchased by Italians. They are the, we can call in our general talk, wholesalers to the European. They collected the goods from Arabs and sold them in Europe. Okay, what happened? When it was attacked by Turks, they started to levy, impose tax, heavy tax on the goods. For example, its price is 10 rupees. When it reaches Constantinople, there who used to collect these goods? Italians. But when they levy another 10 rupees extra, the cost of this product goes to 20 rupees. It becomes expensive. Formerly, these Europeans were getting these goods, getting this product at the cost of 15 rupees. Example, this is an example only. 15 rupees after their profit. But now While reaching Italian only, its price is 20 rupees. Then at what cost they can sell it to the Europeans? It becomes too expensive on the part of Italians and European other merchants. Why was European merchant felt that trade was not profitable? Why was European traders felt that the trade was not profitable? Note down the question. What was the answer? Note down that question. Why? Okay. Meanwhile, see, Spain and Portugal were attempting to break down the monopoly of Italian traders. Who had monopoly over European traders? European trade? Who had monopoly or who had gained monopoly over European trade? Answer is very simple, Italy or Italian merchants. Who had gained monopoly over Asian trades? Answer is also very simple, Arabs. It made jealous to other countries too. They attempted. That means, meanwhile, Spain and Portugal were attempting to break up the monopoly of Italian trade. Who are the new competitors? Spain and Portugal. Spain and Portugal or Portugal. One, they started encouraging courageous sailors to find out a sea route to India. Why? See, I already explained it. Constantinople was blocked. It was the only easy route to reach the Europe from east. That was blocked. That was blocked by the Seljuk Turks. And they started to levy heavy taxes. The trade was not profitable. So, Spain and Portugal rulers, they supported the sailors. ನಾವಿಕರು, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅವರನ್ನು ನಾವಿಕರು. Why did they encourage and what did they encourage? They encouraged the sailors to find out new sea route to India. And the invention of compass, see the image, compass, astrolabes, gunpowder provided further impetus to this venture. To this venture means discovering new sea route. What does impetus mean? Impetus means an additional force, extra support. What? The invention of compass, astrolabes, gunpowder provided further impetus to this venture. Venture means what? Discovering new sea route. How? Compass. Today you know in your mobile you have GPS system. With that you can find out the route. With the help of GPS you can go anywhere and you can come back easily. But in those days there were no such gadgets. And astrolabes, see, through that they can measure the altitude from sea to stars. That could help to voyage the sailors. That could help the sailors. And even gunpowder. Before that, only arrow and bows were there. But gunpowder discovered, which emboldened the sailors. Gunpowder, if they have gun, they need not to fear anyone. That emboldened their trade. See, thus it gave impetus to the discovery of new sea route. Which are the things helped them? Compass, astrolabes, gunpowder. You can see the images of compass, and astrolabes and gunpowder. Now let us see. Now we are going to see the new sea route to India. You know, already we come to know that Spain and Portugal attempted to find out new sea route to India and other eastern countries. But now the matter is, which country discovered new sea route to India? Now we are going to see the new sea route to India. The olden route was from India to Constantinople. See the image. Constantinople to other European countries. Here, many sailors tried to reach India. Bartholomew Dias, Balban, many, they came to southernmost tip of Africa and went back. But one of the persons from Portugal was successful in crossing southernmost tip of Africa. He was none other than Vasco da Gama. Now see. Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama, the Portuguese sailor who left Lisbon from Portugal and reached Kapadu near Calicut on the east coast of India in the year 1498. See, Seljuk Turks attacked Constantinople in the year 1453. That changed the course of history of Europe as well as India. After so many years, the people were, some ventures were successful in finding the sea route to India. Who reached it? Vasco da Gama reached Kapadu near Calicut. He reached near Calicut on the east coast of India in, I won't tell the year. Who was the Portuguese sailor who reached Kapadu? Answer is very simple. Vasco da Gama. He reached Kapadu in 1498, and by this he was successful in discovering new sea route to India, and this route continued to be the route of trade between India and Europe for many years. He was pioneer in finding new sea route to India. That same route continued for many years, and like this, Portuguese were the first to re-establish trade between India and Europe. Formerly, Italian traders were gained monopoly, but almost all the goods were collected by the Arabs. They collected the goods from India, Sumatra, Java, Philippines, China and other countries and sold them to the Italian. But Portugal was successful by sending Vasco da Gama, and he discovered new sea route to India in 1498. Thus, he established a new sea route between India and Europe. He was pioneer, the first person. And you can see the image. With the success of Portuguese, many Dutch, French, English companies arrived at India for trade. That means European trade companies. European trade companies. You know that East India Company, Dutch East India Company, they came to India. They established their trading companies in mother country, their native country, and they were inspired by the success of Vasco da Gama, the success of Portuguese emperors. With the success of Portuguese, many traders came to India. 1 minute. Okay. Who had come to India? Dutch. Dutch from Netherlands, French from France, and English from Britain. English from Britain. This development not only changed the history of India, but also changed the history of European countries. See, where does the root lie? See, we are discussing that it changed the course of history of India and Europe. But which incident made that? 1453 attack on Constantinople led all these changes. See, a small incident. In Kannada, you know that Chikka Parimana Dodda Parinama, like that. And there are so many companies established in India that we will discuss in the next class. Dear students, I have given you so many questions in between the lesson. I hope you would have understood my lesson. Please watch the video, and if you have any queries and worries regarding this lesson, just send me a comment. And one thing, don't forget to note down all these question answer on the notebook as well as in the worksheet. After at the end of the week, you have to send that worksheet. I hope you are doing well. Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Keep reading, keep shining, keep glowing, keep growing. Sai Ram.